Yes.
Okay, at this time, I'd like to call this land use board, land use board meeting to order. At this time, I want to turn the meeting over to the board attorney who will start the meeting.
This is the reorganization portion of the meeting of the Borough of Paccon Land Use Board for January 14th, 2025. And this meeting is being held in compliance with the provisions of the Open Public Meetings Act, NJSA 10:4-6 at SAC. It has been properly advertised and certified by the secretary. And if you would please join me in a flag salute and remain standing for a moment of silence.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. We have already completed the oaths of office, so we'll move on to nominations for the chairperson for the Land Use Board for 2025. Do we have any nominations for the?
I nominate Bobby Grant.
Second.
Any other nominations? Hearing none. Vote.
Mr. Cirillo? Mr. Diamond?
Yes.
Mayor Galati?
Yes.
Mr. Academic?
Yes.
Ms. Crock?
Yes.
Crock, sorry. Councilman Kusevich?
Yes.
Mr. Mazaluski?
Yes.
Chairman Wright? I'm
Yes.
sorry. Ms. Snow?
Yes.
Mr. Taylor?
Yes.
That's it.
Okay,
Congratulations. It's all yours.
thank you, thank you. So, okay, the next item on the agenda is resolution 2025-01. No, that's already done. Okay, next item is nomination of a vice chairperson. Do I have a nomination to be the vice chair?
I would like to nominate Jonathan Taylor.
Second.
Mr. Diamond?
Yes.
Mayor Galati?
Yes.
Mr. Academic?
Yes.
Ms. Crock?
Yes.
Councilman Kusevich?
Yes.
Mr. Mazaluski?
Yes.
Chairman Wright?
Yes.
Ms. Snow?
Yes.
Mr. Taylor?
Yes.
Our next item on the agenda is meeting schedule for the meeting schedule for the year of 2025. Did everybody have a chance to look at the meeting dates and they're acceptable?
Yes.
Okay, I need a motion to accept it.
And that includes the January 20th, 2026 reorganization meeting.
Okay,
I'll make the motion.
Second.
Mr. Diamond?
yes.
Mayor Galati?
Yes.
Mr. Academic?
Yes.
Ms. Crock?
Yes.
Councilman Kusevich?
Yes.
Mr. Mazaluski?
Yes.
Chairman Wright?
Yes.
Ms. Snow?
Yes.
Mr. Taylor?
Yes.
Next item is the designation of the official newspaper for the land use board. I guess we need a nomination to have the New Jersey Herald be the official paper of the.
The Herald and the Sunday Herald. They're
Yes.
actually two papers.
I'll make the motion.
Okay.
I'll second it.
For as long as they're.
In business, yeah.
Mr. Diamond?
Yes.
Mayor Galati?
Yes.
Mr. Academic?
Yes.
Ms. Crock?
Yes.
Councilman Kusevich?
Yes.
Mr. Mazaluski?
Yes.
Chairman Wright?
Yes.
Ms. Snow?
Yes.
Mr. Taylor?
Yes.
Okay, next item is resolution 2025-05, required disclosure contracts. The motion is in order to adopt a resolution authorizing the award of required disclosure contracts for professional services. Do I have a motion, please?
I'll make the motion.
Second.
Mr. Diamond?
Yes.
Mayor Galati?
Yes.
Mr. Academic?
Yes.
Ms. Crock?
Yes.
Councilman Kusevich?
Yes.
Mr. Mazaluski? Chairman Wright?
Yes.
Ms. Snow?
Yes.
Mr. Taylor?
Yes.
Okay, next item is resolution 2025-06, appointment of a secretary. A motion is in order to appoint Amy Mahia as secretary of the land use board of the Borough of Paccon for the year 2025.
I'll make the motion.
I'll second it.
Mr. Diamond?
Yes.
Mayor Galati?
Yes.
Mr. Academic?
Yes.
Ms. Crock?
Yes.
Councilman Kusevich?
Yes.
Mr. Mazaluski?
Yes.
Chairman Wright?
Yes.
Ms. Snow?
Yes.
Mr. Taylor?
Yes.
Okay, next item on the agenda is bills, Mont McDonald, Dolan and Dolan, and Van Cleef, and the New Jersey Herald. Do I have a motion to pay the bill?
So moved.
Mr. Diamond,
Yes.
Mayor Galati,
I'm going to abstain because there's several of the Bella Rosa Realty and I don't want to have to pull them all, so. I'll just abstain.
Mr. Catamic,
Yes.
Ms. Crock,
Yes.
Councilman Kusavich,
Yes.
Mr. Metzalowski,
Yes.
Chairman Wright,
Yes.
Ms. Snow,
Yes.
Mr. Taylor.
Yes.
Next item is correspondence. Bill, we have any correspondence? Any correspondence we have? Okay, next item, zoning officer report. Nothing, Bill? All right. Really good job. Discussion, proposed increase to escrow, proposed increase to minimum escrow deposits. What were we talking about on that?
So because of obviously inflation, everything, I'm finding $900 is the minimum. I'm looking for $300 to $400 more each thing. So I was saying between 12 to 1,500 for the escrow.
So we just make it 15 and I mean, listen, you get it back, whatever the professional.
I think the 15 is a fair amount.
Yeah.
You also have to take into consideration how much time Amy is spending trying to collect
Yeah.
on top of what this initial escrow is. And actually, our escrow with the work that Amy and I have done from all the surrounding towns, it's extremely much
Low.
lower
Yeah,
than
yeah.
any other town around us.
I think 15 is, listen, she has it then, so you know, she doesn't have to chase it, Sarah.
Now with 1,500 for the regular escrow, are you going to increase new homes to 2,000 then?
If you're following in the footsteps of all of the other
Right,
towns
so
around
it's
us. I think you
1,500
have
and
to.
then it was
Okay, for new
1,500 for new
construction,
homes,
we can
yeah.
make it 2,000. I mean, like I said, whatever you don't use, you get back. But chances are you're not getting anything back.
Yeah.
So, okay, do we need a motion for that, or is that just a discussion? That's just a
Yeah, I think
discussion
we-
for now.
Well, I think we could have a motion. that
I think
we
with spending
propose
money,
to do
yeah.
that.
Okay, so I'm looking for a motion to increase the escrow deposits to 1,500 for regular applications and $2,000 for new construction.
So moved.
Second.
Mr. Diamond,
Yes.
Mayor Galati,
Yes.
Mr. Cadmick,
Yes.
Ms. Crock,
Yes.
Councilman Kusavich,
Yes.
Mr. Metzalowski,
Yes.
Chairman Wright,
Yes.
Ms. Snow,
Yes.
Mr. Taylor.
Yes.
Okay, old business. Do we have any old business to discuss? I think so. New business to discuss? Okay, resolutions. We have one resolution, two resolutions. First resolution is Anthony Markowski, and the hearing date was December 17th, 2024. Do I have a motion to approve that resolution?
I'll make the motion.
I have a question though, who votes on it now?
Votes on it?
Only the members that were present at the
Right.
time. We don't need a full quorum to
Need five?
memorialize. We actually only need one. It's a
One.
weird thing in the land use law, but those that participated in the hearing would be eligible.
Okay, so then I'll go, okay, who's gonna, I'm sorry, make the
Need a
motion.
motion to?
I'll make the motion.
I'll
Okay.
second it.
Okay, so then I have Mayor Galati,
Yes.
Ms. Crock,
Yes.
Chairman Wright,
Yes.
Ms. Snow,
Yes.
Councilman Kusavich,
Yes.
and Mr. Taylor.
Yes.
Thank you.
Okay. Okay, the next resolution was Daryl Norman. A motion to approve the certification of pre-existing and expansion of a non-conforming use concerning residential structures. The hearing date was December 17th, 2024. That was Lakeside Boulevard, right?
So that's just the class 4 members. That was the guy
Yes.
raising the roof
Yes.
literally.
All right, do I have a motion to
I'll
approve
make
that?
the motion.
We need a second? I'll second.
Ms. Crock,
Yes.
Councilman Kusavich,
Yes.
Chairman Wright,
Yes.
and Mr. Taylor.
Yes.
Okay. Continued applications, we have none. New applications. The first application for tonight is Carlos Duran, block 70110, lot 28, 29, and 30, 305 Lakeside Ave.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, board members. Bernd Heffley on behalf of the applicant. This is a piece of property located, it's actually 3 lots, 305, 307, and 309 Lakeside Boulevard. There are 3 lots that are located next to each other in the Northwood section of the lake, close to the Lola's Restaurant. And these 3 lots have or had some summer bungalows on them. There are actually 3 individual lots that had 3 individual summer bungalows from I don't know when, way back when. In any event, they were in very poor condition, pretty much dilapidated, boarded up and not really livable. So these three lots were actually bought by the applicant, and those existing bungalows were removed. And this application is looking to redevelop those three lots. All three of the lots, each one was 2,500 square feet, very small for the zone. It's a 15,000 square foot zone, and these were 2,500 square foot lots with very small structures on them. So to redevelop these lots individually as 2,500 square foot lots with homes on them, the variances would be substantial, and it really didn't make much sense. So in any event, the applicant bought up all three homes, and this application seeks to merge all three of those lots into one larger lot of 7,500 square feet, which makes a lot more sense in the zone and allows for the construction of a reasonable home. So it's still an undersized lot, but it's substantially better than what was there before. So he's really, in these undersized lot cases, the applicant's required to, go to the neighbors and seek to purchase additional property in the event it's available to make the lot more conforming. This applicant has actually done that proactively. He's bought all three of the lots, and that's the best he could do. So, and if he had come with just one of them, he would have been required to seek to purchase the other two anyway, but he's already done it all. So I think the application makes a lot of sense in terms of the planning aspects of it, because we get a decent sized lot. He's proposing a home that actually, even though the lot is only 7,500 square feet, still this home meets the majority of the bulk variance requirements for the zone. And the width of the property as well as the size, those two variances obviously are just being improved by this application. So those variances clearly are grantable because we have a better situation than we had before. And the only other variance in the entire application is an 18-inch height variance, and that comes from the architectural design that he's decided that he would like to have on this piece of property. So very small, minimal variance really being requested here, only the 18-foot height variance. So with that being said, we have our engineer here, Tom Graham, who designed the site plan, and I'd like to bring him up and he can explain to you what we're doing on the property.
You swear the testimony you're about to read the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth,
I do.
and you're a licensed engineer in the state of New Jersey,
I am.
and you've appeared before this board on numerous occasions.
I have. My license is current. That's right.
Okay, Tom, so you produced the plans that we submitted as part of the application?
That's
right?
correct.
Okay, he's heard my little intro diatribe,
So
so you can now explain from an engineering point of view what we're doing.
So I've up on the board, we have a rendering, which is basically the site layout plan that we colored up in the middle, and we overlaid it on top of an aerial photograph, just so you can get a sense of the surrounding properties and the size of the buildings that are surrounding the property. And I've marked that as Exhibit A1 with today's date on it. And the title of the plan is Site Layout Exhibit Plan. So we're here tonight for block 70110, lots 28, 29, and 30, more commonly known as 305 through 309 Lakeside Boulevard. Lakeside Boulevard is also known as County Route 609. Excuse me. The property is 7,500 square feet in area, or 0.172 acres, rectangular in shape with dimensions of 75 feet wide by 100 feet deep. Topographically, the property slopes from north to south towards the roadway. The elevations at the rear property line are approximately 990, and then out in the middle of the road, it's at 978. Over the 100 and so feet, it's about a 10% slope across the property, average slope. The property has frontage along Lakeside Avenue, again, County Route 609. There are residential properties to this east and west, and to the south across the roadway. The property immediately behind the property is a borough-owned, undeveloped wooded lot. So
Currently, property supported 3 individual bungalows on septic systems and wells. Again, as stated by Mr. Heffley, they were in a state of disrepair. So the plan is to clear the entire lot, get rid of all the existing impervious coverage, construct one new single-family 4-bedroom dwelling, a paved parking area, and then the darker green box in the back is the septic system or septic field required for the bedroom. So between the septic bed and the parking field, there's not a lot more room to make the building footprint any bigger than it is. And with the layout that we have in front of you, the property meets all of the bulk requirements for the R1 zone with the exception of 3. Minimum lot area, the zone requires 15,000 square feet. We're at 7,500 square feet. Minimum lot width, the zone requirement is 120 feet and we have 100 feet. And then the proposed building height is 35 feet is allowed, or 2.5 stories. We're at 36.6 feet and 3 stories.
So the size of the property, 7,500 square feet, is an improvement over the existing individual lots of 2,500 square feet.
That's correct. It's more conforming than what
Than
existed
what
today.
existed before. And with regard to the lot width, we now have 75 feet rather than individual 25 feet. So that's.
That's correct.
also.
Yep.
Now, with regard to the height variance, I think it is notable that the property behind this one is owned by the borough. So there's nobody back there that's going to be impacted by the 18-inch height variance.
That's correct.
is
It's
that
not going to
fair?
impact anyone's view. In fact, that property even slopes up. So anybody that would construct, if they were to construct on there, the other roadway is further away, higher, and they would be above this dwelling.
So it's fair to say that 18-inch impact, 18-inch height.
I absolutely agree with that. Yes.
Okay, that's all. Go ahead. Keep going.
Okay, so again, we're on a county roadway. So we met with the Sussex County Engineering Department to determine the best location for the driveway, maximize the site distance that's available. And this location was determined. The limiting factor in the site distance is there's existing retaining walls along the properties on either side of us that where we have to set up the instrument for the line of sight. We just run into those walls. So we have the best location that the county can approve on this property. And again, this is another improvement in that it's one driveway as opposed to 3 separate driveways. We've also designed the parking lot so cars can park and then pull out into the roadway instead of having to back into the roadway.
But just a question on that. It was approved, but I thought it, from some of the documents I read, that it was approved with restricted right turn access.
No,
only.
that was a question from the engineer in his report. We still have to go to the county of Sussex to get that approval for the driveway location. We met with the county engineering department out in the site and measured the physical site distance. So we still need that approval. That was a question from Mr. Rushke.
So it's optimally placed for what you have, but currently not really A-OK for safety.
No, it's as safe a location as is available. This county site distance is based on, the roadway has a 35-mile-an-hour speed limit posted, but the county standards are for a 40-mile-an-hour speed, which typically requires a little bit more, almost 440 linear feet. We have almost 280 in one direction and 337, I think, in the other direction. So it's close. There are some other things that we might be able to do, clear some vegetation along our frontage. The restriction, right turn, that would be up to the county, but I don't believe they're going to impose that for a single family home, which has relatively few trips associated with it. If this was a busier shopping center where you had a lot more cars coming in and coming out, they might put the restriction on it. But I think the volume of traffic and the available site distance that we physically measured will allow this to have two-way traffic in and out of the property.
Yeah, I agree. There's infrequent traffic coming out of the property, but morning rush hours, people coming to work from Sparta. There's two sides of that equation, which isn't just the residents of the home.
Absolutely understood, and we're gonna have that discussion with the county and the engineers and the county planning board, but I suspect that they will allow us to have left and right turns in and out of the driveway.
So you can't comply with it because the neighbor's walls are out in the
There-
right of way. So
that's the
they're doing the
instruction.
best they can. There's
Right,
nothing
yeah.
more you can do to make it better.
So,
And there's driveways on either
and-
side of you that,
so what, so it's a very specific place that we measure it. We have to measure it from 10 feet behind the edge of pavement and then looking this way, and the height of the eye is this high and an object's this tall. When you can't see, you creep out. And then you can see beyond the wall. You're not now sitting where you're measuring it from, but you're sitting from a place that has a much greater sight distance going that way. So,
All I wanted to do was raise the
Uh,
point that it's
understood.
not resolved, that
no, it's,
everything's great.
no, it's not, but technically we are deficient, but I think from a practical standpoint, when you're using the driveway, you have much greater sight distance than we're able to report on the plan.
I mean, previously there was 3 driveways
Right,
and they were all backing out.
backing out, and we've designed
Now
it
we
so
have
that
one with-
people
where they're-
pull out. So this is a much more improved plan than what existed today or previously.
Did the county representatives from the engineering department meet on site?
Yeah, we were out there with Rick Vanderplug and I forget the other,
Yeah.
their kid, I forget his name, but we sat there and we measured the distances.
Then is there anything more you need from the county or?
We'll need a driveway access permit and we'll need a waiver from the site, from the county site distance standards. We're gonna make those applications,
All right.
assuming that we get a positive vote from the board tonight.
Okay.
And I think in the past year, you guys been using that as an overflow parking space for Lola's.
I believe that that is the
Yeah, so-
case, yeah.
There hasn't been any issues there.
Okay.
Was a zoning issue.
Yeah, well, besides zoning, but I'm saying that as far as the traffic or accidents, making the right turns.
Listen, you know, on that stretch of road, there's many driveways that are
Yeah.
way worse
Yeah.
Yeah.
access to get on the county road. I mean,
So back to the zoning requirements, I mentioned the 3 variances that we have. We meet all of your other bulk requirements. There was one question raised in Mr. Rushke's report. Front yard setback required is 40 feet. We're allowed to go down to 20 feet based on the lots that are on either side of us. We are at 21 feet, so we didn't go all the way down that we could. The lot on this side is at the 12.8 feet. This one's at 15.2 feet. Of the 3 buildings that were there, one was at 20.5 feet, one was at 20.8 feet, and this one on the left-hand side as a plan of, as you're looking at it, was at the 12.5 foot. So we are absolutely in compliance with the prevailing setbacks on the property, and we'll add that information onto the revised plan set once we get everything done for the resolution compliance.
John, I mean, obviously you're gonna use one of the wells, one of the existing
Yep.
wells on the
I
property.
just- Yeah, there were a couple of wells on the property. The plan is to test them and use the one that's the best yield. And then the other one will be abandoned in conformance with state regulations. But the overall, the project is also reducing the amount of impervious coverage from the 3 bungalows that were there, their driveways and parking areas. The total impervious coverage was 2,461 square feet. We're reducing it to 2,188 square feet. So it was 32.2% of the lot area, and we're gonna be at 29.1%, where your zone allows 30%. Again, the parking area was designed so that we could pull out. There are a couple of other agency approvals that we will require. County Health Department for the septic system, the county planning board for the driveway and the driveway permit. And also, because we're disturbing more than 5,000 square feet, the Upper Delaware Soil Conservation District.
So you're not planning on keeping the outhouse?
We- Yeah, I kind of like it, you know, carve a half moon in it and, you know, it adds a little character, yeah.
Just
And
a question on the water. I know an issue that comes up with people with private wells in town is PFAS levels. So when you're talking about testing the usability of the well, it will also be for PFAS compliance.
The well will be tested for whatever the state requirements are so that it can be used and that the health department will sign off on it.
We're not gonna get a CO without it
Yeah,
passing
they'll
that.
need it.
They'll need it for PFAS.
Yeah.
That's part of the CO requirement for this valley.
You're gonna just use the better producing well.
Well, that's right.
At least you have a choice there.
Well, there's two. There were only two serving 3 lots, so. And then our plan is to consolidate the 3 lots and we'll provide the description of the combined lot for your engineer's review. And there was one other comment in the engineer's letter regarding landscaping. We didn't really show any landscaping on the plan. I suspect that the ultimate user will have some foundation plantings, maybe a couple of trees, but I think that's a personal choice and should be left up to them. Unless there's something specific that you want. And planting trees along the frontage, given the limited site distance, I think that might be a bit of a hindrance if we added trees there as well, so.
I mean, I don't really see a need. I mean, you got a wooded lot. behind
Wooded
you.
lot behind,
You're
right,
pretty much developing most of the lot.
yes,
So, anything would be.
I agree, and we can't really plant anything over the septic system that would be, invaded, so. I think that once it's done, it'll be grass, soldered or whatever, attractively landscape. I think the overall project will be an absolute benefit to the area and the surrounding properties.
Absolutely, from what it was. I mean, those 3 shacks were very nice to us, for my whole
I
life.
can't believe they didn't blow over.
So that's
With regard to the Hatchmark McDonald letter of October 4th,
Yep.
comments on there, we've gone through most of those, but we do not have any problems complying with the, in that letter, correct?
No, that's correct. I thought I addressed everything, but if there's anything else in here that we haven't addressed, we will provide it. And certainly we have worked with Mr. Rushke in his office in the past, and we can iron out any details that they think may be appropriate.
So we can comply with that October.
Yep.
4th letter. Okay. That's all we have.
Okay.
Questions the board may have.
My concern is the height, the 36 6. In the whole background, we have a 75-foot ladder, so between the approach, if we park the fire truck from Lakeside Avenue, between the height, the distance off the houses off the street, we're going to be like, almost like a maxed out. I know it's 18 inches and you use the lot behind it visually, but I think it's more of a approach for the fire scenes for the height.
Well, it's 36 feet the way your ordinance measures height, and that's from the perimeter of the building to the highest point of the roof. So again, the building itself is, we didn't make the building as big as we could. The lot or zoning allows for a 20% building coverage. We're at 9.1%. So the building is about half as big as it wants to be. It's about 740 square feet. So it's only a little bit over 2,200 square feet of living area, which is not a big house. And that's kind of what's driving the height of the building is all the 4-bedroom house, all the usable space that a family that uses a 4-bedroom house would need. It's only 18 inches. It's not, and that's measured from the ground. So we could artificially fill around the house to keep the volume, but that wouldn't look right. So while I understand your concern about the height and your maximum ladder height, I believe the roadway is close enough to the house that you would not utilize the full 75 foot of the ladder.
You're pretty close.
It
Math is pretty close, and you don't want to be right up against the collapse on
I-
anyway, but I think if you just change the pitch of the roof a little bit, and make it more approachable in that
So-
sense.
I am not the architect. I think that if there is a question about that, we can have the architect modify his plan, but
I mean, I think that, in fairness, the applicant has done everything we can here. This variance is very, very minor. I think the benefits of the redevelopment of this lot in terms of everything else he has done. Meaning buying all 3 lots so that there is enough property to do this, putting on to the property a home that is not oversized. He's not asking for any variances to speak of. We've improved everything on this site. So I think the benefits of this application far outweigh any detriments from an 18-inch height variance.
On that point, you had mentioned that it's, would you say that this house is kind of keeping in the nature of the size of houses in general in the area?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Really? Okay.
Mr. Gray.
Well, I would say they're larger than the little shacks there for sure.
Right, but
You know,
I think if,
But I mean, it goes to the point of, well, it's okay, you have a lot of benefits, and I agree, it was not a great place before. So nobody's arguing about the good old days here. But coming in for 3 variances, wouldn't it have been better to come in with 2 with a less tall house and maybe a little wider house that, you know, deals with some of the issues regarding safety and.
I think they would have had the 2 variances regardless, so it really
Yeah.
is only the
one variance that,
the height variance that we're talking about. The height variance has 2 aspects, it's 3 stories, and we get into that a lot in terms of the exposure of the.
I mean, it's kind of minimal.
Lower
We
level
get
and-
applications that come in with 10, 12 variances,
Yeah,
so
yeah,
they're
this one
really
is-
coming at a small.
This is
you know.
essentially 1 variance because the others pre-existing.
I mean,
And
can you try to,
It's a
can you try to work the roof down a little bit, maybe split the difference, you know, I mean.
I mean, I can, but we're really in the weeds here on that, because honestly, if we had the 3 individual lots and I had to come in front of this board to develop each lot individually, do you know how many variances? We'd be talking
Oh,
about
I
50
know.
variances
I know.
between the 3 lots. So, I mean, this from a planning point of view, this makes so much sense. And so I really think that, like I said, the benefits, you know, way outweigh the detriments. And the architectural plans have been designed this way for this particular house. So, you know, I would respectfully request that the variance be granted because I think it makes sense. And I think the proofs for the variance are here. So I would like to keep that height.
Well, we'll ask the fire chief to do a drill up there with the reach, park the fire truck there with the ladder, and then see what they recommend then.
I mean, if you want to have your fire chief review this for the 18-inch variance, that's fine. And if he doesn't like it, we'll come back.
And I don't, the way it is, I mean, it's 18 inches, so.
Yeah. I mean, I would request the variance, but
I would, you know, me personally, I don't have a problem, but I'm not the whole board, you know?
I mean, height variances, when you get height variances in front of the board,
Yeah.
they're not 18 inches.
No, we're not looking, yeah, we're not
They're
talking about
5 feet,
4, 5,
6 feet, 8
yeah.
feet. Those are
Yeah.
those are the typical height variance requests. I'm here looking for something that's about as long as my glasses
Yeah.
here.
So, and if you're on the other side of the street, we wouldn't even be having this conversation because you'd be down in the hole, you know?
Right. So while I appreciate that it's a variance, and I don't disagree, it's a variance, and obviously the fire company needs to deal with it, but I think that we have a very good fire department here. I don't think the 18 inches is gonna make much difference to them.
Well, I know we do, but like, you know, if we have a height of 35 feet and you guys propose a 36.6, then obviously you need to take into effect that, you know, you should stick to 35 feet.
No, I
I
get
know
it.
it's still not a, maybe pitch the roof and you accomplish that.
Now look at the architectural, the roof is pretty modest already, like, if you look at the pitch on there, it's probably only like a 5 pitch. on that, you know, so to try to bring the roof, the heat down a little bit would be. Now, let me ask you this, can you,
So-
instead of having this,
So
like
why,
this little gable on the front, can you just put like a hip down to kind of,
so why don't we do this? I'm gonna somehow bend the architect's arm here and we'll cut it in half. We'll take it down 9 inches. We'll split it. How's that? Does that make sense? I mean, I think the variance makes sense, but I don't wanna, you know, I don't wanna argue with the board. We'll try to do something. We'll try to take it down 9 inches. I mean, the pitch is gonna have to change, but I don't wanna have to.
or like
know-
you said, you could build a planter on the outside of that, or built the grade up, and you could,
We could
then the
make it
18-inch
work.
variance goes away.
I could make it work, right, but like Mr. Graham said, then it wouldn't look right from the road.
Get it.
And I think aesthetically, you want this thing to look nice. I mean, that's more important to us in town, that we have something aesthetically nice than try to make, try to avoid the variance.
I mean, if they could cut it in half, would
Is the
that?
architect here?
No.
Yeah, we have the architect.
Oh, he's here?
Oh, he is? I mean, just, you know.
I mean, if you can make it, if you can find 9 inches somewhere, I think we can,
We'll agree to
you
that.
can, we can make.
We'll
it
agree
work.
we'll agree to that.
Okay. Instead of an 18-inch variance,
It's a 9 inch variance.
variance.
Right.
All right.
We'll figure it out.
All right.
We'll use thinner lumber.
Yeah.
Well, if you need to help figure out, I could help.
Okay.
It shouldn't be that hard.
We'll make it work, I'm
Yes.
sure.
We will.
Okay, any other questions?
I
So,
think there's a letter from, Lake.
yeah, we do have a letter from the Lake Pack
Oh, I
Commission.
don't think I saw that letter.
I mean, it really doesn't, basically what it says is that it should be noted that the proposed development will have a lot coverage of 29.1%, where 35% is permitted. I don't understand what, you're making it, you're lower than the permitted.
We're in compliance
Yeah,
there.
you're in
Yeah, I didn't
compliance.
see it either.
We're in compliance and we reduced the impervious coverage that existed today, so we've made it better,
Well,
so.
as long as you got a copy. of
Yeah,
it,
yeah.
just-
I'll give you a copy of it.
I
I mean,
have-
it's nothing,
I have
all right.
Okay.
The only thing that it does say is it suggests that the commission suggests recommending the green infrastructure, the native plantings, the dry wells, and the use of pervious pavers.
It's the same comments they make on every application.
For the last 10 years, it's, that's what,
But again, we're reducing the impervious coverage. We are not proposing any green infrastructure, again, because we have reduced the impervious coverage, so we're not increasing our runoff from the site. The site's gonna be graded out, so it's relatively flat, so most of the stormwater that lands on the property will have more of an opportunity to infiltrate into the grass surfaces on the property as opposed to just running off the property. So this is a better plan for the lake and the surrounding areas than what exists today.
your impervious coverage is, what was it and what is it now?
It was 2,600, we're going down to 2,100, or from over 30% to under 30, 32 to 29. So about a 10% reduction in impervious coverage.
I don't want to be the dead horse, because I did a second floor in my house, and I was standing where you were, and we were beaten up by trying to get a bigger house than the neighborhood. So, I'm not unsympathetic. But, part of variances is the community benefit. How does the community benefit from this?
The housing stock
Well,
that
a better
existed,
house.
it's a better
Yes.
house.
I agree. Anything would have been.
It's gonna be
better.
less traffic on the surrounding roadways because we've reduced the number of houses and trips by
Sure.
2/3.
Yeah.
There's that benefit. It's a newer, modern structure. We're gonna,
But if you look at the first floor where you have that very expansive ceiling, I mean, the house could have been brought in compliance just by making the first floor for
those
normal.
are building decisions and architect's decisions.
But I
That's not
mean,
my purview.
if in the spirit of not looking for variance, right?
No,
Listen,
we're allowed to look for variances, provided the benefits outweigh the detriment, and that we can
Yeah.
prove the legitimacy of the
And
variance.
it's,
Variances are something that this board is in the province of approving, provided that you have the appropriate proofs. Now, if this were, like I said, developed for 3 individual lots, the impervious coverage, the variances, 3 homes, 3 entrances and exits onto this county road, that is a very, very bad planning approach.
Right.
One house is a much, much better planning approach. And those 3 houses, any one of them might come in with a height variance. So
Sure.
this is a substantial benefit, and from a planning point of view, substantiates an 18-inch height variance all day long.
Yeah, I would agree. The positive criteria far outweigh the
Yeah.
negative criteria for this stuff. You're taking 3 shacks, you're building 1 house. You're taking 3 driveways, you're putting 1 in. So for the borough, it's a much better, the positive criteria far outweighs the.
Definitely, yes.
Yeah.
The driveway
Yeah.
turnaround is.
Yeah.
the
Yeah,
driveway
turning a drive, you
turnaround
don't
is
have to
huge.
back out
You
into
don't
the
back
road.
out
So,
in the front.
so that's the positive criteria. Listen, if that's what he wants, then he comes here and he proposes that. So we say, well, you gotta drop the ceiling down. We do the best we can. But, we get ones where the negative criteria far outweigh the positive. So This one certainly is
Win-win.
far in the other, yes.
But the structures that were there prior to, say, like 1956.
Well, nobody's building those structures anymore.
I know,
Everyone's
but
bigger.
but, and again, I don't want to beat a dead horse,
Okay.
but you know, these were built in the Wild West. We're much smarter now, and I would say a nice house is a nice house, and that's a big improvement. But do we always have to stretch to the point beyond? I mean, I've sat in a meeting on that side of the table, wasn't our application, but to another application, the guy was asked, can't you build a house for normal people? And, you know, that's the spirit here. Is this absolutely the only thing that could get done, taking advance all the issues that we could still have a nice house and that maybe doesn't present a concern about stretching the limit of a ladder or things like that?
We're gonna request the variance.
Any other questions of the applicant?
No.
Seeing none, I'll open it to the board. Does anybody from the board wish to comment?
Public.
I'm sorry, the public. I'm getting frustrated here. So anybody from the public wish to comment on this application? Seeing none, I'll close it to the public and bring it back to the board and wait for a motion.
I'll make a motion with the 9-inch clearance.
Yeah, we're agreed to the 9-inch reduction.
We got a motion and a second.
Mr. Diamond,
Yes.
Mayor Galati,
Yes.
Mr. Kavanaugh,
Yes.
Ms. Crock,
Yes.
Councilman Kucinich,
Yes.
Mr. Mezzalewski,
No.
Chairman Ray,
Yes.
Ms. Snow,
Yes.
Mr. Taylor.
Yes.
Okay, thank you very
Got
much.
it.
Okay, have a good night. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Next application is Axles. Lot 30501, lot 2. 303 Lakeside Boulevard.
Paxos.
Let's hope no one has to test it in reality though, right?
You can take a little bit.
Oh, thank you.
Good night, thank you.
You too.
Good
Thank
night,
you.
thank you.
Good night, Mr. Graham.
I know.
Ready to go? Thank you.
Good evening, everybody. Oh,
Swear
sorry.
the testimony you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth.
Yes.
And your name, sir?
Axos. Good evening, everybody. My name is Mike Paxos, like we just said. We are here tonight to present to you a renovation that's about to happen, that we would like to happen at 303 Lakeside Boulevard. To give you a little bit of history about myself, me and my family, we're a family of 4. We reside in Roxbury Township at the moment, since 2010. I met my wife a long time ago, and in 2005, we bought a place here in Hopatcong on Ford Place as our first home together. We stayed here for about 5 years. Within those 5 years, I started my business. She started her nursing career, and here we are today, 20 years later. We bought a property on 303 Lakeside Boulevard. Throughout my childhood, I've I've been frequenting this lake, learning how to water ski with family and friends. Throughout the years, you know, getting to know more people on the lake. This was always an attraction to me, my wife, and now my kids as well. We were in search of a property anywhere on the lake for a long time. When we saw this one, all the pieces of our lives kind of fell together with it. And especially with our children now, wanting them to have the same experience as we did with this lake, we decided to jump on this property. The property right now has a 1-bedroom cottage, 1 full bath on it, with a boathouse that also has a half bath and 2 bedrooms. The 1-bedroom cottage isn't really in the best shape, you know, in regards to the way it was built, but we decided to purchase the property because of its location, because of the town it was in, the history we have with the town, and the view, of course, of the property. Tonight with me, my architect Ken Fox and my engineer Donna from Morgan Engineering. They're going to help me present what we plan and want to do. And that's where I'm at.
Can I ask a question?
Yes,
What do you propose to remove the cottage, replace the cottage? Do you propose to keep the boathouse with 2 bedrooms? I didn't understand.
Correct. The boathouse is going to remain. There's
Did you
nothing.
notice a use variance on this?
Notice for use? Or any other variances on there? Bill? You may have a pre-existing non-conforming use with the boathouse.
It may be a pre-existing, but they didn't advertise a use variance for expansion of a non-conforming use. I didn't understand the application that there was a boathouse with occupancy in the boathouse.
I didn't, we didn't, I didn't,
Truthfully, this morning.
Yeah, until this morning, we didn't- yeah.
Talking about the boathouse, and I remember.
yeah,
Because
we
we did
didn't.
a review a while back. And you wish to keep the boathouse with the 2 bedrooms.
Yes.
It's not properly noticed. There's this use variance application for expansion of a non-conforming use. I got that in a PDF. I didn't understand that in the application whatsoever.
Well, what's gonna happen is that we're gonna have to postpone this, and you're gonna have to renotice with that in there, in your notice that your part of your application is expansion of a pre-existing non-conforming use, because you have the boathouse there with bedrooms or living space above it, correct?
Yes.
Okay. I mean, I don't think it's entirely your fault that you have to go.
I bought it that way, right?
No, I'm just saying, like, the whole application, we might have, it just may have been overlooked when you filled out the application.
Do you want this in your individual
No.
name?
Is it an LLC or a corporation?
Let's see.
Yeah, so you need
Yeah, it's required.
legal representation. So are you asking us to adjourn this application to a future date when you'll have all this? I don't know when, how soon you can get all that? Or we notice. I mean, as far as your stuff, as far as all this, it looks good, but it's just the way it was noticed and, we need an attorney here if it's in a business or an LLC.
I'm sure Mike has all the documentation, attorneys, everything for the next available meeting.
The next
so-
one's February 4th, and you're fine if you want to go for February 4th.
That's what we're.
Yes, please. Yeah, whatever I need to do.
Well, we need a motion to carry this bill without, well, you do have to
Oh,
know
yes,
properly.
yeah. I'll make the motion.
Second.
Mr. Diamond,
Yes.
Mayor Galati?
Yes.
Mr. Catman,
Yes.
Ms. Croft, Councilman Kucinich, Mr. Vezalowski,
Yes.
Chairman Ray,
Yes.
Ms. Snell,
Yes.
Mr. Taylor.
Okay, what date was that?
February.
February 4th. All right, so, you're good for February 4th. if you get all this, you gotta get everything into, Amy, you know,
Yeah.
all right? So, okay,
Okay.
we'll see you then. Thank you.
Okay, thanks.
Okay, at this time, I'll open the meeting to the public. Does anybody from the public wish to address the land use board? Nope. Seeing none, I'll close it to the public and bring it back to the board. Judy?
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
All right. Once you make the motion, it's over. To the end of the
You
night, it's over.
you can't be too, you can't give it enough backing.
Shelby, I was not able to email Nick. He said that